because by that point I had nodded off. When we came to the next robot, the driver eased off the accelerator a bit to look around and check the road. My mother reached over, pulled the sliding door open, grabbed me, and threw me out as far as she could. Then she took Andrew, curled herself in a ball around him, and leaped out behind me. It felt like a dream, until the pain hit. Bam! I smacked hard on the pavement. My mother landed right beside me, and we tumbled and rolled and rolled. I was wide awake now. I went from half asleep to what the hell? Eventually, I came to a stop and pulled myself up, completely disoriented. I looked around and saw my mother, already on her feet. She turned and looked at me and screamed, "Run." So I ran, and she ran, and nobody ran like me and my mom. It's weird to explain, but I just knew what to do. It was animal instinct, learned in a world where violence was always lurking and waiting to erupt. In the townships, when the police came swooping in with their riot gear and armored cars and helicopters, I knew. Run for cover, run and hide. I had known that as a 5-year-old. Had I lived a different life, getting thrown out of a speeding minibus might have fazed me. I'd have stood there like an idiot, going, "What's happening, Mom? Why are my legs so sore?" But there was none of that. Mom said run, and I ran. Like the gazelle runs from the lion, I ran. The men stopped the minibus and got out and tried to chase us, but they didn't stand a chance. We smoked them. I think they were in shock. I still remember glancing back and seeing them give up with a look of utter bewilderment on their faces. What just happened? Who would have thought a woman with 2 small children could run so fast? They didn't know they were dealing with the reigning champs of the Maryvale College Sports Day. We kept going and going until we made it to a 24-hour petrol station and called the police. By then, the men were long gone. I still didn't know why any of this had happened. I had been running on pure adrenaline. Once we stopped running, I realized how much pain I was in. I looked down and the skin on my arms was scraped and torn. I was cut up and bleeding all over. Mom was too. My baby brother was fine though, incredibly. My mother had wrapped herself around him and he had come through without a scratch. I turned to her in shock. What was that? Why are we running? What do you mean, why are we running? Those men were trying to kill us. You never told me that. You just threw me out the car. I did tell you. Why didn't you jump? Jump? I was asleep. So I should have just left you there for them to kill you? At least they would have woken me up before they killed me. Back and forth we went. I was too confused and too angry about getting thrown out of the car to realize what had happened. My mother had saved my life. As we caught our breath and waited for the police to come and drive us home, she said, "Well, at least we're safe. Thank God." But I was 9 years old and I knew better. I wasn't going to keep quiet this time. "No, Mom, this was not thanks to God. You should have listened to God when He told us to stay at home when the car wouldn't start. Because clearly the devil tricked us into coming out tonight." "No, Trevor, that's not how the devil works. This is part of God's plan. And if He wanted us here, then He had a reason." And on, and there we were, back at it, arguing about God's will. Finally, I said, "Look, Mom, I know you love Jesus, but maybe next week you could ask Him to meet us at our house, because this really wasn't a fun night." She broke out in a huge smile and started laughing. I started laughing too, and we stood there, this little boy and his mom, our arms and legs covered in blood and dirt, laughing together through the pain in the light of a petrol station on the side of the road in the middle of the night.